Am I the jerk for telling my lesbian ex-wife that her partner cannot be my son's mom? Posted by you/OK5110. Hi all, throwaway because my friends are not completely aware of this current situation. I, 35M, was married to my ex-wife, 34F, for 7 years. 2 years ago, my ex-wife came out as a lesbian. This came as a complete shock to me. She and her partner, who were co-workers, had been having an affair since she joined the company a year before our divorce. We have a son together, 8M. I was heartbroken and devastated. I felt betrayed, as I had spent 7 years of my life with this woman, and it all felt like a lie now. When I confronted her, she told me that she had to live her truth and that she tried to suppress her identity because she didn't come to terms with it until she met her partner. When I asked whether she loved me, she told me that while she loves me, it's different from how she loves her new partner. This broke my heart even further. The divorce was quick as she did not want anything from me, and we agreed to a 50-50 split of custody. I decided to go no contact with her and handled the custody transfer process through my sister, 27F, whom I moved in with after the divorce. I sold the house, and we mutually agreed that the excess money from the sale would go into a college fund for our son. I could not bear to stay in that house anymore, as it kept reminding me of her betrayal. For context, she introduced her partner as her work friend, and I believed her. I had no reason to suspect anything, and they had several girls' nights, which I now figure were probably cover for the affair. For 6 months, I was in a depressive state because I didn't know where I went wrong. But this is one of those scenarios where nothing I could have done would have made it better. This realization made me even more depressed, and the fact that all the vows and little things she said at our wedding were all just lies trying to keep up a ruse made it even worse. The two people that got me through this state were my sister, to whom I am eternally grateful for helping with her nephew and supporting me while maintaining her career, and my college ex-girlfriend. Around 4 months after the divorce, we reconnected at a reunion, and she really helped me through the worst of it as a friend. About a year after the divorce, we started officially dating, and I introduced her to my son. During this time, my ex-wife's partner had limited interactions with my son. This was not because of anything I said, but my ex-wife wanted him to adjust to his new reality. My son is at that weird age where he understands what's going on but doesn't fully grasp the situation. If you know, you know. He understands that mommy has a girlfriend and that mommy and daddy are no longer together. I'm pretty happy with how he has come to terms with the divorce, especially considering we didn't explicitly talk to him about LGBTQ+ topics. We had decided that we could discuss these things when he's a bit older. Around 8 months ago, my ex told me she was officially moving in with her partner and that she was engaged. At this point, I was still no contact except for brief conversations concerning our son. She invited me to the wedding, but I declined. They were planning a destination wedding in Spain, where her girlfriend lives. She wanted to take our son to the wedding, which would require him to miss school for a week since she also wanted him to meet her girlfriend's family. I told her that missing school for a week didn't make sense and suggested she plan her wedding during his vacation, as she didn't yet have a fixed date. She argued that they likely wouldn't find a date aligning with his vacations, as they wanted to get married as soon as possible. I relented and agreed, since I didn't want to interact with her further, and it was within her rights to have her son at her wedding. The problem started when my son returned from the wedding. He was supposed to stay with me, as we have a flexible week-in/week-out custody arrangement. She wanted to take my son on her honeymoon so he could bond with his new stepmother. I told her that she had already had 2 weeks with him, as she had custody the week before the wedding, and I wanted to spend some father-son time with him. I told her it was within my rights, and she should go spend time with her new wife. She argued that, since our son's interactions with her partner were limited due to her busy schedule, this was a great opportunity for them to bond. I told her that she'd already had 2 weeks for them to get to know each other. She said they were busy with the wedding and didn't have time. I explained that I had taken vacation days to go to a motorcycle expo and build a Lego set, 2 things my son absolutely loves. She kept arguing, and I finally told her that custody arrangements are in place for a reason, and that was one thing I would not negotiate. She got angry and left. My son and I had a great time together. I even got him one of those kid-sized motorcycles since he liked them so much. Over the next few weeks, we returned to our week-in/week-out routine. One day, I saw that my ex had posted a photo shoot of them and my son under the caption #lesbianmommies. I thought it was just a post, but the way it portrayed them as a family didn't sit right with me. When I had my son for the week, I asked if his mom was saying anything to him. He hesitated but eventually told me that his mother had been trying to convince him to call her partner mom. This shocked me, as I never expected my ex to do this. Then again, I've been wrong before. I asked if it was something he wanted, and he said he felt much more comfortable calling her by her first name and that calling 2 people mom felt weird. I told him it was okay and that he shouldn't feel pressured to do anything. I called my ex and asked to meet up because this was serious, and I wanted to discuss it. I confronted her, and she told me that since she and her partner were married, it was only natural for our son to have 2 moms now. I told her it wasn't okay to pressure him into calling her partner mom, as she is not his mother, doesn't have an active parenting role in his life, and any major parenting decisions require both of us. She tried to argue that, since my girlfriend and I were getting serious, I might eventually want our son to start calling her mom. I told her that, even if we became serious, I would never try to convince our son to call her mom because he already has 2 parents, and he doesn't need more. Then she dropped a bombshell. She and her partner were hoping that, down the line, they could file for adoption. She assured me I'd still be able to see my son but wanted her and her wife to have legal guardianship because they wanted to build a family. I told her absolutely not, and that our partners have no say in our son's life. She accused me of being homophobic for denying her the right to a complete family. I told her that her life choices are hers, but our son's life is something we decide together. The issue escalated further when, 3 weeks later, I found out that my ex had enrolled our son in Spanish lessons, which he told me he hated. For context, my ex is Latin, and her partner is Spanish, so they speak Spanish at home. We had decided to raise our son in English, as she speaks it better than Spanish, and I don't speak any Spanish. When I discussed this with her, she said she wanted our son to connect more to his heritage. I told her I didn't mind the idea in principle, but we'd tried this several times when we were married, and he had shown no interest. She said it might be different this time, as there are now 2 Spanish speakers at home. I told her I was all for bilingualism, as knowing 2 languages is an advantage, but forcing him into something he doesn't want makes no sense. I even suggested trying another language he might like. She accused me of denying our son his roots and went on a tirade, accusing me of denying him his identity and her the right to a family. My girlfriend usually stays out of these matters, but she advised me to contact my lawyer. My lawyer assured me that even if they filed an adoption notice, I could contest it, and it would take something exceptional, like abandonment, for my contest to be rejected. My ex keeps posting pictures of our son as part of her new family, and it's honestly started to trigger me. 2 weeks ago, I interacted with my ex's new wife for the first time after the divorce. She contacted me to meet up and told me that my ex had finally started to recover from the trauma of coming out and building a new life. She accused me of being emotionless and uncaring during the divorce, guilt-tripping my ex into agreeing to 50-50 custody, and standing in the way of their happiness. She also told me I should agree to the adoption in a few years, as they've always wanted a family, and I would still remain my son's dad and could visit him. I told her I didn't care about her emotional state during the divorce and that my custody demands were fair by any rational standard. I told her if they wanted a perfect family image, they should have a child of their own with no connection to me. I feel like all this has started to affect my son more than anything. He's a lot less happy than he was a few months ago, as we had started to adjust to this new reality. For context, since I know this is going to come up, the emotional trauma my ex faced stemmed from her family effectively disowning her after she came out. Her parents don't talk to her anymore. My son, however, has plenty of interaction with his maternal grandparents when he's with me. My ex-wife and her partner make significantly more money than I do. However, my ex-wife earns less than me, but her partner has a senior position and more stability. This was also an argument my ex-wife used regarding adoption, saying they could send our son to private school and provide a better life. The recent elections may have caused some of this urgency, as they worry they might lose adoption rights soon. However, they don't want to adopt him now, but in a few years, so I doubt this is the reason. Update 1 day later. Hi all. It's been crazy seeing everyone's reactions to the situation, and I wanted to share a quick update with you all. First of all, I'd like to clarify that my son and I have been going to therapy since the divorce. He was doing quite well until the whole mom saga happened. My in-laws disowned her after she came out. They were not even aware of the affair when she came out to them. They still spend time with my grandson under the condition that they don't badmouth my ex and don't preach their views to him. They agreed and said that they valued a relationship with their grandson over any political views they might hold. I have been a part of every interaction they have had with him because I was worried they might say something inappropriate. Thankfully, this has not been the case. Her extended family has told me that they have all cut her off as well, some for the affair and some for her being gay. Our mutual friends also cut her off because of the affair. All our mutual friends were my work buddies and their spouses/partners. I did not ask them to do anything, they came to the decision on their own. I was actually glad when she told me she had made a friend on her own, as she used to complain about not liking her colleagues. We all know how that turned out. I'm pretty sure they're not planning to skip the country. I have all my son's documents, and we decided this during the divorce because she was still figuring out where to go. Since I was moving in with my sister, the chances of them getting misplaced were low. I have also not received any demands for the documents, and she returned the passport to me when we came back. The whole adoption thing probably stems from the fact that my son has a very close relationship with his mother. The only times he has really complained to me are when she asked him to call her partner mom and when she made him take Spanish classes he didn't want. We did everything for him equally during our marriage, but I had to travel out of state to my parents frequently during COVID because they were sick with pre-existing conditions and couldn't take care of themselves. My sister was on an assignment abroad at that time. My sister also agreed with this. Please let me know your thoughts. I listened to people and contacted my lawyer, who is also my friend, this morning. He told me the same thing as last time, that it would take something really unusual for the adoption process to go through, like child abandonment. He also said that they are a bunch of idiots who have no idea how the law works. He also told me that if the whole "we want to adopt him" is a real thing and if she is talking negatively about me to my son and I could prove it, I could get custody. This has not been the case, as I've not heard my son say that his mom says bad things about me. This brought me a sigh of relief. I plan to contact my ex today with the following conditions. We both install parenting apps and document all interactions. No more mention to me or my son regarding adoption or calling her partner mom. No more posting images of my son as part of their perfect queer family, because, frankly, I don't want my son's photos on the internet when he is so young. He can decide what he wants when he is older. I plan to talk to my ex in a couple of hours. Please let me know what you think about this. Second update 1 day later. Hi all, I talked to my ex today. She was busy yesterday, and I wanted more time to gather my thoughts. When we met, I put forth my demands. She told me the parenting app idea seems fine and that she has no problem with it. She got sad when I told her to drop the idea of adoption and calling her partner mom, as it's just not going to happen. She explained that her family had pressured her to settle down. I proposed after a year of dating, and I didn't know this, and getting pregnant so soon after getting married wasn't what she had in mind. She got pregnant 1.5 years after getting married. Does that count as soon? I don't know. She said she had been in the closet her whole life because of her parents and thought marrying me would make her feelings subside. She was happy until she met her partner. She went through postpartum depression after giving birth, but I didn't know she hadn't wanted to get pregnant so soon. She then admitted that the reason they, her wife and her, wanted to adopt my son was that she wanted to start fresh. She said she was never really happy during our marriage and that with her new wife, she could have the family she'd always dreamed of. She didn't want my son to grow up resenting her for being a lesbian since he doesn't have much exposure to people like her, apart from her and her partner. Look, I have to be honest here. I don't know any gay people, and no one in my family or circle of friends is gay. We've never talked about these things because it just doesn't come up in daily life. That doesn't mean my son and I have no idea who they are, especially after the divorce. I told her this wasn't going to happen and that he has had a lot of exposure to people from her community. I told her it seemed like a flimsy excuse to separate my son and me and that she was making it up to justify her actions. After some arguing, she revealed the real reason she and her partner wanted to adopt my son. Reddit, your prediction abilities are unreal. Apparently, they wanted to adopt him because they are considering moving to Spain in a few years. I told her she couldn't do that and that the legal framework supports me and my rights in both countries. She admitted she knew this, which is why they wanted me to sign the adoption papers. I told her she was crazy to think I'd agree. I reminded her that she still needs my permission to take him out of the country, just like when they got married in Spain. Thanks to a Reddit comment, I researched the laws about this, so I know this isn't happening. She said they wanted to see if I'd agree, and if I didn't, they wouldn't pursue it because she doesn't want to be separated from her son. I emphasized again that this is not going to happen and that if she tries anything or says anything to my son, I'll sue for full custody. She looked sad and said they wanted to check with me first. I told her, in what world would you expect me to give you and your wife full custody? First, you divorce me, leave me for a woman, and then expect me to sign over my child and act like nothing happened? I told her from now on, every interaction will be documented, and if I suspect anything, I'll sue for full custody. She seemed scared at the idea of losing custody. I don't think she considered that possibility, and she agreed. I also told her not to try to create this picture-perfect queer family because it's not going to happen. Our son has a mom and a dad that he spends half his time with, not two moms. He is not her affair partner's son. He's her son and mine. If she wants a child with her wife, they can have one on their own. I reminded her that the courts are more likely to side with me because of what she's been trying to do and the fact that I work from home and spend more time with our son than she does. I've been trying to ensure he has a stable relationship with both parents since the divorce because I don't want him to resent either of us. But if she tries to remove me from his life, I'll sue for full custody and deal with any resentment he has toward us. I didn't want to argue anymore, so I left the room. I secretly recorded the conversation to have proof in case anything happens. Honestly, Reddit, I've been very angry at my ex since the divorce. I haven't shown it around her or my son because I don't want her to use it against me, and I've been going to therapy, but I'm still angry inside. Her comments today about our marriage hurt me even more. I spent 7 years with this woman, and her betrayal still angers me to this day. When I got home, I contacted my lawyer friend. He reiterated that they'd have to kidnap my son for their plan to work. I asked if there was anything else we could do. He said the current custody agreement is very thorough, and we've ensured that. Whether I want full custody is up to me, but I have to be sure before putting my son and myself through the process. I don't want my son to grow up without either parent because that's not healthy for him. That's why I won't sue for full custody now. If they're foolish enough to kidnap him, which I'm sure they're not, the law is on my side. I know her partner's position at work, so I doubt they'd give it all up without a good reason. As for the passport issue, I have all his documents, and things like notifying me about travel or hospital visits are already in the custody agreement. The legal framework is solid. My ex-wife is still a good mother who loves him, and he enjoys spending time with her. Plus, my son is the kind of person to tell me if he's uncomfortable with anything, so I'll know if they keep pushing their nonsense. On a positive note, I'm not against Spanish lessons, but my son doesn't like them. I just suggested he try learning a language he enjoys. There are plenty of options. I didn't bring this up with my ex, but now I know she was pushing for Spanish because of the Spain idea. Thank you, everyone, for your support. You really helped me understand the situation. I can't believe I didn't think about her considering Spain until I read the comments. You all are amazing.